Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a minute, and today I'm doing a video that I have promised for the longest. Today I'll be talking about my positive birth story, what I love to call my supernatural childbirth. And there's a lot to say, but I'm going to try to, summarize as much as possible. So I'll just be taking you through a little bit through the pregnancy and then labor, delivery, and maybe a little bit after. When I was pregnant, I filmed quite a number of videos, but I've not even it's almost a year now. It's more than a year now because I'm in pregnancy before childbirth. I mean, maybe it's almost 1 year, and I've not even edited. I mean, Lord have mercy. I want to take content creation seriously, so I pray God will help me. But this one, I said I must do it because my baby will be 1 year old in a few days, in a couple of days, and I'm like, okay, this is the best time to put this out there. 1 year after, how labor was for me, how pregnancy was for me, why I am calling it my supernatural childbirth, because God really showed up in extremely tremendous and amazing ways. Like, God showed up big time. So yeah, if you're pregnant, about to be, you have a baby, you don't even have pregnancy in view now, you're definitely going to enjoy it because there's a lot to say. And of course, I'm going to also share a bit about having your baby in the UK because I live in the UK. So yeah, I'm going to also share that with you. So let's get to it. So when I was pregnant, I read this book titled Supernatural Childbirth. It's an amazing book, trust me. And the author, Jackie Myers, simply talking about the book, she had 4 children. The first childbirth experience she had was extremely traumatic for her. It was really, really bad. And then God revealed to her how He is the one in charge of childbirth and, teaching her to just surrender and lay everything to His feet and, letting her know that you can go through labor without pain, without it being traumatic, without it being a terrible experience. So she wrote this book just helping mothers to see that one of the problems, one of the things that makes labor extremely traumatic for a lot of mothers is fear. Fear is like the big factor. And also, a lot of people have heard a lot of things. For me, when I was pregnant, one thing that I made sure to do, which I encourage you to do if you're pregnant, is shut out negative noise and thoughts. I know that, and I affirm that labor is one of the most childbirth generally is one of the most life-changing experiences any woman can go through. Childbirth is painful. Childbirth is, it takes a lot, but childbirth is miraculous. So if you focus more on the miraculous part of childbirth, it helps you to see it better. So yes, I know I'm going to push this baby out, or I'm going to go through the surgery to bring this baby out. I know my body is going to change. I know I have to go through a lot of healing process, but my focus is on the fact that I'm bringing forth a child. I'm bringing forth a child. I'm adding to my family. I'm adding to the kingdom of God. And that helped me put my focus on my baby, my baby, my baby, as opposed to the paint, right? So when I read this book, and she explained that I think her second and third, was it third and fourth pregnancies were pain-free for her. It was like quick, it was easy for her. And I'm like, God, I desire this. I desired it so much that when so in one of my midwife appointments, so if you're in the UK and you're pregnant, you're going to have like, they don't do like antenatal the way it is in Nigeria. Like, I didn't experience a hall full of pregnant women dancing and singing like I see it in videos in Nigeria, which I really wish, because those videos look like fun. But my antenatal classes were over Zoom, but you have an assigned midwife to you that takes you through Like, I think my first visit was 13 weeks. Then I think after almost every month or 6 weeks, you see your midwife. They check on you, check your pressure. What I say pressure, blood pressure, yeah. Check everything, you know. You can ask questions about anything and everything. They put you through, show you the things you need. My midwife gave me a book on the things to eat, things not to eat, you know. And of course, the NHS website is also very rich in resources that you can read to prepare you for childbirth. So in one of those meetings with I think my midwife referred me to, I can't remember the name. They have a lot of names, all these medical professionals, and it's really amazing. So my midwife, you know, told me about sent me for this procedure. There's a lot of things to say in my head. And I was asked that would I want epidural? What kind of pain relief am I going to take during childbirth? And I'm like, I don't want epidural. I've read this book. I'm not gonna have any pain. So I told him I don't want epidural, that probably gas and hair just to help me breathe better and, you know, calm me down. And the person, let me just call her a doctor because doctor, gave me a form, a paper to read more on epidural. And then they also showed me the side effects of epidural. One thing I love about the system here is whatever thing they recommend for you, they let you know the side effects in case. So he mentioned that I think 1 in 100,000 women have spinal cord whatever when they take epidural. 1 in, like, it's always like, it's a very minute number that have extreme side effects. So a general form, epidural is fine, right? It's hard, you really have like severe side effects. Anyway, I told him I don't want epidural, I'm gonna be fine. Oh, had I known. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm going to get to that story. So I said I don't want epidural because I've read supernatural childbirth and I believe strongly that I'm not going to have any pain. My supernatural childbirth baby is awake. Hey boo boo. Hi. Hi. Okay. We are going to do this video together. Yeah. Anyway, so back to the story. So my pregnancy journey was like, I would say it was an easy one, to the glory of God. Like I didn't have severe problems. God so good. So at the beginning of my pregnancy, I had a work accident. I don't want to go into the details, but people close to me know the details. And I had to go to an accident and emergency. And it was from all of the tests and everything that they really confirmed to me that I was pregnant. They were just like, oh, that's your baby then. I'm like, eh? Are you people sharing baby in this in this hospital, you know? And of course I was suspecting because I'm like, but I didn't feel anything, no nausea, no morning sickness, no, I was super active. So I'm like, maybe it's the stress of Christmas. That's why, you know, I didn't see my period and all of that. Until what happened. I then had to go into the hospital and they had to do a scan. And they said, oh, you're pregnant. And I'm like, wow. But the moment they said I was pregnant, I started to feel pregnant. But also throughout the journey, I didn't really have morning sickness. In fact, I can use my fingers to count how many times I vomited. Most times I just vomited to, like, you know, clear my throat. I didn't have severe cravings. To be honest, before I was even pregnant, I've been praying to God, I want my pregnancy to be easy and seamless. And trust me, mamas watching this, God answers prayers, right? There's some things about pregnancy that you might not be able to pray away because pregnancy is a lot of biology, right? But God is the one in charge of biology. So who says that, you know, God cannot change things for you, or God cannot help you experience things better? So I've always heard that pregnancy is this, pregnancy is that. And as I said, shun off a lot of negative news because it's not going to help you. And that way I had a pregnancy journey that I loved. Like, I loved being pregnant. Of course, tiredness here and there. I didn't have terrible cravings. My cravings were not a do or die thing. If I didn't have what I was craving, I moved on. Then I'm in the UK, so I was craving things like street food in Nigeria, and I'm like, Simi, you can't get it. But the times that I really craved something, like I craved amala one time, and I traveled to Peckham, my husband and I, on the train, like over an hour journey, just to eat that amala. Anyway, that being said, my pregnancy journey was fine. But towards like the mid, when they did all of those tests and stuff, they're like, oh, your baby is small for, you know, My baby, my now big baby, what's the matter? You want me to feed you? Mommy has to do this video, huh? In preparation for your first year birthday. Mommy has to do this video. Huh? You don't want mommy to make money from YouTube. Please, so YouTube start paying me. Oh. People, please subscribe, oh, so that I can take care of my baby. Anyway, that's a joke, but yes, subscribe. Yeah, so that's really that about pregnancy. Yeah, so when I was like halfway into it, what do you want to pick? Okay, take this. When I was about halfway into it, then they were like, oh, your baby is small, blah blah blah, I need to eat better. So in pregnancy, I was not really hungry, I was not really eating like so bad. I think the total weight I had pre-pregnancy to when I had my baby was like maybe 10 kg extra. Was it even up to that? I don't think it was even up to that, you know. So motherhood break. Let me see if I can be breastfeeding while I'm making this video. Just a moment. So look at just my face. Because if I don't make this video now, I won't have enough time to edit and do everything I have to do. Motherhood stuff. Anyway, so I was not overeating during pregnancy. So they're like, oh, your baby is small, you need to eat more. So I tried eating more. It got to a point they're like, the baby weight has really gone below the something centile, you know. So there was a period in the pregnancy that I was going to the hospital like every 2 weeks because we were doing scans to check baby's growth. I'm like, not everybody will have like robust babies, and everybody, you know, most people say it's best to have, you know, a small baby so it's easy to push out. But even with the small that they were shouting, I still had a 2-degree tear. But yeah, but they had to do what they had to do, you know. So it was not like it was not an emergency kind of, oh, baby's not growing. It was more of try eating more just so that, you know, everything is fine. But yeah, everything was fine. Then even when we found out the gender, I thought I was having a boy. I thought it was a boy. I was like, when I saw it was a girl, I'm like, God, yes, finally have my bestie. So yeah, pregnancy was good, to be honest, to the glory of God. I didn't have any, in fact, I prayed against having a big nose. Some things just are natural, but the big nose didn't like appear until maybe 6-7 months. Most people didn't know I was pregnant until like 6-7 months, except people that saw me in the UK. Most of my folks in Nigeria did not know because I was still posting a little bit on social media. I didn't do a lot of videos anymore, but I was doing a lot of text-based content, and you know, I still try to show up because for me, I didn't hide my pregnancy, but I just didn't want a lot of attention during that period, you know, and all of that. Anyway, now to the labor, to the about to deliver. My due date was August 27th. I was happy for 2 reasons. Number one, I'm August 10th, so I'm like, what's the best thing? Having your how better can it be having your baby in your birth month? Like that's like your bestie for life, you know. So I was so happy about that. And secondly, if you're in the UK, babies born between September of a particular year to August of the next year start school together. So I'm trying to look at how I will explain it. So if you give birth in August, let me give you, okay, backtrack. Baby starts school when they are 4 years. So baby starts school, or when I say school, I think that's primary school. Baby starts school in the September rather, after their 4th birthday. Or is it 5th? Yes, 4th. So in the September after their 4th birthday, baby starts school. So it says September after their 4th birthday. So if they are 4 in August, let's say we're in 2024. So if your child is 4 years old in August of 2024, it means they will start school in September of 2024. But if your child is 4 in September of 2024, it means they'll start school in September of 2025 because they've already entered September. So school year is like September to August, right? So I was like, okay, my baby is August, fine, we're going to start school, 4 years, good. Because if your baby between 0 and 4, you have the responsibility to either homeschool, take your child to nursery. For those of us that are immigrants, you have to like really pay for the nursery. I think it's when the child is 2 or 3 that you get like some funded hours, but mostly you have to pay a lot. So yeah, Uh, so then when your child now has to start school a year after, more payments. I'm like, August it is. August 27 came. Uh, no sign of baby. It was even a Sunday. So my weekly track of my due date was on Sundays. I think I got pregnant on a Sunday. So when every Sunday was like a new week. So I had so if a like a sister of mine had a baby at 37 weeks. So it's always said that babies come between 38 and 42 weeks. But I decided to pick 38. So it's supposed to be 38 to 42. I'm like, the earliest is fine. 38 weeks, your baby is fine. Your baby is fully developed. Your baby is okay to come out. So 38 weeks was August 13. So I was always saying 38 weeks. In fact, I said it so much that my mom and my grandma thought my due date was August 13. So they came from Nigeria to the UK August 9, a day before my birthday, just to have my birthday with me and ensure that they don't miss the baby's coming. It was when they got here and they're like, oh, they thought that was the due date, not knowing that that was my own picked due date. Anyway, 38 weeks passed, 39 weeks passed. So when it was 40 weeks, I automatically had an appointment. Was it at 40 weeks or even the week towards the 40 weeks? So they checked to see if there was any sign of labor, if my water had broken and all of that. So they did this sweep. So they did a sweep for me. I think the appointment was already, I think it was the Monday after the 40 weeks, so they did like a vaginal sweep for me just to like help speed up the process. And automatically they booked me for an induction for 41 weeks. So in the UK, when you are already 40 weeks, that's your due date, and no sign of baby, they will automatically book you for an induction the week that it becomes 41 weeks. So between that 40 weeks and 41 weeks, if the baby comes fine, if not, automatically you have to be induced. So I remember the sweep was August 28th. So I said to the midwife, can't you just pop this water? Can't you just pop? Let my water just break. She was like, do you want me to lose my job? No, I can't do that. So I had the first sweep August 28th. I was still like, okay, there's still time. This baby will still come in August. At this point, I was not even thinking whether we should share the same birthday. I just want my child to resume school when she's supposed to resume school. But then babies are born in October. November, December. So it wasn't really a big deal, but I really was thinking it too much as a big deal. So so the second sweep was August 30. I went for another sweep and I'm like, pop this, let this water break this water so that this baby can come out. I remember praying and I was still telling God, I know you can do it. This baby can still come. This is still August 30. Auntie, this is still August 30. I know the baby can still come before August 31st. This baby will come in September, in August. I don't know, September. Then my husband's birth month is September, so he was like, September, yay. Sometimes I envy men. They don't worry themselves. It's we mothers that worry about everything. My husband was like, if she's born in September, she has to start school at 5 instead of 4. So people are born in October, people are born in November. Those are born in October, do you want them to have to come a month earlier and all of that? So when it was August 31st and no sign of baby, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to the hospital on the Sunday anyway. So that was September 2. Yeah, September 2 or September 3, that's Sunday. So my husband's birthday was September 1. So his colleagues were already like, are you gonna have your baby your baby's gonna come on your birthday? That's gonna be your birthday gift and all of that. So September 1 came and passed. I'm like, unto. And then on the Sunday, I went to the hospital, for my induction. I have always thought of, this Nollywood pregnancy delivery time where the woman will just wake her husband up in the middle of the night. Okay, it's time, and they will start rushing. I remember telling my husband that when I'm in labor, don't be the one to drive me so I don't distract you. Lo and behold, we were thinking on our way to the hospital because I was not in labor, I was not in contraction. We are going to have a baby. 41 weeks and baby hadn't come out, so I was doing fine. In fact, I think that morning to go to the hospital, I even cooked. I cooked, like, my pregnancy, as I said, I was strong. Like, when I was about 6 months, I went for a summer event, a community I belong to, VAG, and I even participated in egg and spoon race. Like, I was super, super strong, in my pregnancy, which I thank God for, and yeah, so 41 weeks we got to the hospital. In my mind again, I was like, so before then they had already given me resources. As I said, they always equip you with the knowledge. They gave me things to read, to understand the different induction processes they put me through and all of that. Fast forward to that Sunday, I got to the hospital. In my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna pop in on Sunday and go back home on Monday with my baby. I was in the hospital 4 p.m. They said I should come 4 p.m. on Sunday. I got there, and yeah, they took me to the induction ward. So there are different things they're going to put into you for induction. There's dilapan, if that name is correct. There's propers. So because I was not, when they checked, they said I was 2 centimeter dilated, so they couldn't use the dilapan because it's not like wide enough. So they had to put the propers, and the propers induction stimulation works for 24 hours. So they had to put it in me for 24 hours. So that was already Sunday 4 p.m. So they came back on Monday 4 p.m. to check. Before then, they said only one person can stay with me. So my mom, God bless her, she was like, okay, she's going to wait with me. So she stayed in the car. So my husband stayed with me in the ward. So she stayed in the car downstairs, and it was quite cold. Mothers, God bless all of them for us. So she stayed in the car downstairs, and my husband was with me. God bless my husband too, because the chair, so they gave him a chair. So in the induction ward, I had my baby at Darren Valley Hospital. For those of you that are around Southeast London, Darren Valley is actually in Kent, but yeah, it was close to us. Anyway, yeah, so in the room, they just demarcate with this blue thingy. Demarcate the room into 4, so 4 people in a room. So but you have your privacy, yeah. So there's like a chair, a little bit recliner chair for your birth partner, your husband, whoever, your spouse, to stay with you, and then there's the bed for the person carrying the baby. So my husband was on that chair for 4 good days. God bless him. So Sunday, so when I got there and everything, and they put, next thing, they already brought food. I saw food. I'm like, okay. They brought, so at that point, I think the eatery or whatever had closed. So the nurse just like put together some things for me and brought it for me. Next morning, good morning, what would you like for breakfast? And at that point, I asked my husband, I said, this food they are bringing, is it free? If I'm going to pay for food, let me rather pay for what's the name, food that we benefit me where because I mean, British food, we're bringing a lot of mashed dishes, spring. I'll look for the videos and like insert videos and pictures of the food I had in the hospital. So at that point, I'm like, is it free? I could not ask them. So I quickly sent a message to a sister friend of mine in my church that also had a baby in that hospital. So I'm like, Mama, how far? This food that they are giving us to eat, is it free or are we gonna pay? Let me start knowing our bill. She was like, no, it's free. It's all free. I said, okay, good. They came and gave me lunch. They will even say, do you want ice cream? Do you want? I said, okay now. But I'm like, I don't want to get too comfortable here. Beg. Let me go to my house. Monday came, Monday evening, they checked the whatever it is, the induction thingy, the propers. Yeah, I think it was the propers. And they were like, oh, you're still 2 centimeter dilated. I'm like, if I hear this 2 centimeter again, I'm going to lose my mind. So they said I'm still 2 centimeter dilated. And at that point, they removed it and they used, okay, yeah, so after the propers, they now used one called proskin, something prostalagen gel or something like that. I try and Google the name and add it. So I think that works for 12 hours. So they put it in, I think around 7 p.m. or so on Monday. And it was supposed to be like in the morning on Tuesday. Yeah, in the morning of Tuesday to see if it's going to help. Morning of Tuesday came, brothers and sisters. Nothing, no. In fact, I remember there was a lady in the next to me, but I could not see her. She was like screaming and all. And I was telling my husband that this thing is chilled now. Why is this person screaming? Don't ever make fun of people. Well, I was not making fun of her. I was just surprised, actually. But don't ever make fun of people if you've not gone through what they've gone through. And that's how I'm like, so they came again the 3rd, 4th time saying, oh, you're still 2 centimeters dilated. I'm like, if I hear 2 centimeter again, I will tear my clothes. Because why? Since Sunday. So at this point, baby was already 41 weeks and 2 days overdue. Like, you're literally 9 days overdue. Come out in Jesus' name. So around so this was Tuesday morning. So they put another pros whatever gel, which was for another 12 hours, which would have like till evening. So this was Tuesday. In the afternoon on Tuesday, contraction started. Was it the afternoon? Yeah, like around 12 whatever. Contraction started. That was when I knew why the lady next door was screaming. Ladies and gentlemen, contraction contracted. And they'll say, oh, be calculating it, how many minutes apart. I did not have the capacity or the time or the mind to be counting how many minutes apart because I was in pain. I don't know how to describe contraction pains, but it holds you and leaves you. So it's like it will come for like a couple of seconds and you're like ah, and then leaves you. So it's like it's like they're beating you and they're allowing you rest and then come back again. So at that point the contraction started. I was squeezing my husband's finger. They're like, oh, breathe. So all of those things they taught us, breathing techniques, something. At some point I even forgot it because I'm like, God. At some point I was screaming. I didn't even care. I was just screaming. I'm like, then I started remembering this book. I'm like, God, we are going to supernatural childbirth. Why am I in pain? And that's when it occurred to me that, yes, you're praying to God for a supernatural childbirth. God is the one in charge of supernatural things. He is the one that would, for lack of a better word, choose what he wants to be supernatural about your childbirth or about anything in your life, right? So, for example, you could say, oh God, I don't want to ever be hungry again. But then God is like, okay, instead of you never being hungry, let me provide food for you to eat instead of taking away the feeling of hunger because it's natural. So I'm saying this to say childbirth pain is natural. Yes, this person did not experience pain after I think second or third one. She's late now, so I can't even look for her and ask that. Are you sure you didn't experience pain at all? But with what I experienced compared to what I have heard women experience, I saw the supernatural hand of God in it. I saw the supernatural hand of God in it. And even till when the baby came out, it was more supernatural. So I'm going to get there. So before I went to the hospital, I'd already put together like a playlist for like gospel songs to help me through childbirth. So when the contractions and everything, I just played it on my phone. I was just trying to like hold on to God's word, confessing God's words, but that thing was hitting me at some point. In fact, before the whole contraction thing started, when the first was put in me for the 24 hours, my husband and I took a walk around the hospital. Like they were like, oh, move your body to like help. I was bouncing on that ball, doing everything. This auntie here was just chilling. And then fast forward back to Tuesday, the contraction started in around 2 p.m. where I knelt down on the pillow because I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand. So I knelt down on the pillow and held on the bed. And the funny thing is, all this said I was going to film it, but at that point, making videos was like the least of my problems. And in fact, my husband will not even want you to make videos of those kind of sensitive moments. So I didn't even think about making videos. But I made like just a little bit of selfie videos when I was in the toilet when the contraction was like at some point I just went to sit down on the toilet bowl. I don't know if it helped or it did not help, but the contraction still came. But like I was there for a bit. So when I knelt down on the pillow, I just realized that water, after like some hours, water just with a little bit of blood. So finally my water broke. That was Tuesday afternoon. So I told the nurses my water broke. So they're like, now that my water has broken, I have to be like very careful because at this point it's like open, so baby has to be like monitored. And they then said, okay, do you want me to check how long dilated you are? What are you chewing? Open your mouth. What's in your mouth? Nothing. You're always chewing something. I'm sure there's something in your mouth. What's in your mouth? Muriri, open your mouth for mama. Okay. Boo boo boo. Boo boo boo. Ah, yeah, found it. Oh dear God. I knew there was something in this mouth. It's God that protects children, trust me. All this bead in your hair, Steph, I'll remove everything. Okay, so back to the story. Motherhood break. Um, yeah, so they said, oh, do you want us to check how dilated you are now to see whether we are to move you to the labor room, blah, blah, blah. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, after paying my water has broken and they checked, I was still two. If I hear the word 2 centimeter again, even now that I have a child, I'll be having PTSD. My water had broken and they said I was still 2 centimeters. I'm like, what's wrong with these 2 centimeters? What? And with 2 centimeters, you can't push. With 2 centimeters, you can't do nothing, you know. You want to come down? With 2 centimeters, you can't do anything. And at that point, I looked at my husband, I'm like, I'm tired. I've been here Sunday, Monday, now this is Tuesday, and we are still on this 2 centimeter journey. So I kept on, so they then had to like put a lot of monitoring, so they had to monitor baby's heartbeat, monitor my own heartbeat and everything. Everything was being monitored just to ensure that there was no problem. And then when it got to like evening of Tuesday, I was in a pain that I could not explain. I could not cope. I could not breathe through it anymore. So at that point, and that Tuesday I could not eat anything. Like they brought breakfast or lunch. Or I was just in too much of pain. I could not eat, you know. They were just kept on monitoring me and, you know, checking. So I was exhausted. So it was already Tuesday evening, and my husband was asking them that, okay, that yes, she's still 2 centimeters, but what if we just like go to the labor room? Can we find, is there a labor, whatever? And then they were like, oh, there's a long list of people that are like ready to pop, ready to put to bed. So they are going to just put me on the waiting list for the labor room. And at that point, I'm like, hey, Lord have mercy. So they said they just put me on the waiting list, you know, that but because I'm 2 centimeters dilated, they cannot like put me as priority because, I mean, from 2 to 10 is a long route, but I was not okay, you know. So for pain relief, they brought, they gave me paracetamol, painkillers, they gave me, some injections, if I remember well. Yeah, I think twice. They gave me injections twice, you know, just to help. Those things were not doing nothing. Sister, half an hour. Those things were not doing anything. I was just like, God have mercy. And then Tuesday night came. They were like, oh, okay. This was like, I think it's like around 9 p.m. on Tuesday night. That was September 5. What exactly do you want? What do you want to take? What? Eh? Those of us that have babies that want to do content creation, they're supposed to be paying us double. So Tuesday night, they said, oh, finally there's a delivery room, delivery suite, as they call it, that I can go into. So remember, I had not eaten, so I'm like, okay, if I want to push, I need energy to push. So I think it was my lunch or is it my dinner that they had brought that I could not eat. And I said, okay, let me just quickly put something in my system. Biggest mistake ever. So I quickly ate rice. It was rice and something curry. I quickly ate the rice, and as I finished eating it, I vomited everything. And the nurse came back and said, she was looking at me and wondering what I was doing, because why do you want to eat when you're about to push out a baby? And I'm like, I thought I needed the energy. She was like, no, the energy will come. So I put everything out. So it's safe to say I did not eat anything for 24 hours. So we got to the delivery suite. At that point, they gave me gas and hair, another pain relief. How gas and hair works is that you have to, gas and hair is, it can turn you. Let me just put it that way. Oh yeah, wait. Gas and hair can intoxicate you so much that your eyes will be turning. Yeah, you're trying to have pain relief, but it is very intoxicating. And the thing about that gas and hair is that you have to suck in the gas, before the pain comes, so that it's already in your system, and when the pain now wants to come, it's bam, combats it. But sometimes I would have, the pain would sheshe come, then I would want to take in the gas. So it was not, I did not get the calculation. So if you ever have to take gas and hair, remember that you have to just keep sucking in the gas as much as you can. Keep sucking it and breathing out like the as much as you can, so that whenever the pain is trying to come, like you have some in your system. But as I said, taking it a lot is going to like intoxicate you. So I was taking gas and hair, and I think it was already like around 12 a.m. on Wednesday, and this old 2 centimeter thing was still there. And you know how God does these things, eh? God always looks for a way to glorify his name. Like in my relationship with God, in my years of working with God, what I've seen is that God would always look for a way to glorify his name. Like YouTube video. Please just please just help me enjoy this my video as it is. Oh, it's a lot of work. So yeah, so 2 centimeter whatever, but I was already in the delivery suite, and then the doctor came in and said, will I like epidural, will I want to have epidural? And I was like, no, I don't want epidural. I've heard a lot of bad news about epidural. And she was like, no. So the doctor came in and asked that, oh, okay, since the pain was like gas and hair did not work, the shots and everything did not work, that do I want epidural? And I'm like, I've heard a lot of bad things about epidural, I don't want. And she just said to me that no, that's like one in how many thousands. And then she said, don't try to be a hero. That's what always rings in my mind. She's like, don't try to be a hero. And I'm glad I took that advice. She's like, epidural helps, epidural works. People have been using it time and time again. So don't try to be a hero. Yeah, take this. Take this. And then I looked at my husband, we spoke, and I was like, okay, if it's really going to help, because I mean, he didn't want to see me in pain anymore, because I was like a shadow of myself, you know. And then yeah, take this one. Take. Why throwing it away? This one, come. So after we said, okay, fine, I'll take the epidural. So they put me in the list of people that were taking epidural. I mean, those of us that had babies that night, I think we were plenty, because there was always a list. So they put me on the list for I can't remember the name of the person that does it. So that when it's my turn, it's going to come. So after a couple of minutes, it came. And then the process of putting in that needle was, I felt as the needle went into, I could feel it in my bone. I think it's usually put in the spine, because I could hear, as the needle went in, I could hear, it was like I could hear my bone to put in the needle. So while the needle was going in, I was using gas and hair to cope with the pain, because that one is another one. So I was using gas and hair to cope with it. But then when it went in and it stayed, and then they gave me the button that after every 30 minutes I can be pressing doses of epidural. And ladies and gentlemen, daddies and mommies, brothers and sisters, I can say to you equivocably English something. God bless the person that invented epidural. I read on it, and I think it started, if I remember well, during the war. So epidural was a way of was a pain relief treatment for soldiers that went to war, you know, because I mean, they're in the battlefield, maybe no access to like surgeries and all of that, and when they've had like serious injuries, they give them epidural. So they then, you know, introduced it into childbirth. And I bless and pray for the person that invented epidural, because the moment I got that epidural, the pain was over. Like, I did not feel pain anymore. So I had the button, I could be pressing it a green color will come up when it's time to press. I was pressing the thing, I was fine. Like at that moment, After how many hours, I had relief, but because of it's now in my spine, I had to be like on the bed for a while. So like I couldn't move around, right? So I was on the bed. My husband was there with me as well. At that point, my mom had gone home because it was already like how many days, and it was cold, so she couldn't keep staying in the car. And we're like, it's not even healthy, so that she should go home. So our plan was, okay, she would go home that Tuesday, then come back on Wednesday, and hopefully baby would have come. So praying and everything like that. So she had gone home. So my husband was with me there, and then I was relaxed. I was just enjoying my music, praising God, thanking God everything will be fine. So they put all the whatever to still monitor the baby, because I mean the water had broken since the day before. Around noon on Tuesday, and this was already like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. ish on Wednesday. So they kept on monitoring, and at that point, I just saw that the nurses were looking at something, and then they were looking at something and going. And in the UK, midwives or nurses, I think midwives are, yeah, midwives. Midwives are the ones that deliver your baby. Like, push, yes, that's your baby. The moment you see doctors, the moment they have to call doctors, it means that there's something. Next thing, so at that moment, I was trying to sleep because I have not rested for almost 24 hours. So I was trying to sleep, but they kept on checking, saying I should move to one side, move to one side. And at that moment, two doctors came in actually, and they looked at it. They were like, okay, can I move to this side? They were checking, and at that point they were like, oh, that your baby's heartbeat has dropped, something that we might have to do an emergency C-section. Do you agree to do an emergency C-section? And I looked at my husband and I'm like, oh my God, I have no problem with CS. Like I tell people, if I have a friend that had a baby a few days ago, and before then I said, see, if you get to the point where the doctors say we need to do a CS for you, please just take it with good faith and good heart, because they're after your well-being. In fact, in the UK, for them to even recommend CS, it means it's important, because CS costs them a lot of money, and having a baby in the UK is free for us. So if you have a vaginal delivery, it's easier and cheaper for the government. But the moment you have to do CS, because the doctor that will come for the CS is different and all of that, it costs them a lot of money. So when they say CS, it means that they've checked everything, they've run out of options, It has to be CS to save life of your baby. So I always tell anybody that cares to listen, I have no problem with CS. It is also a procedure. The most important thing is that your baby and yourself are fine. So, because I've heard a lot of stories that break my heart 1,001 times over, when, women are like, refusing CS. In fact, some will say yes, but the other will say no. And then they're like, oh no, Hebrew women. And then because of that, they lose the baby, or sometimes the women die. So I have no problem with you having faith. Faith is good. Faith is the one that, keeps us going. But when it gets to crucial moment like this, take the best option. So when they said, oh, CS, whatever, for me, I'm like, I was unhappy, not because of CS, but my thoughts were that if it was going to be CS at the end of the day, I could have done it at 40 weeks. I could have done it in August. Why wait for 10 days? Why go through all of this stress and pain to resort to CS? So I told them that, you know what, let's just wait a couple of more minutes and, see what happens. At that point, it was like already 4 a.m., 5 a.m. ish, when they were saying all of that. So they're like, okay, they'll give you like an hour. Mori, stop, please. Stop it. No. So they said they were going to give it like an hour, and then, come back and check and all of that. But if nothing improves, CS. I'm like, okay, fine. At that point, I just started speaking in tongues. I'm like, God, I am like, Lord Jesus, let this baby come out now. I started speaking in tongues. I started blasting in tongues. Like I was still lying down on the bed. I didn't make a scene. I was there speaking in tongues because I'm like, God, you promised me a supernatural childbirth. This is where it happens. This is where the supernatural childbirth will take place. This is where my testimony will come. Ladies and gentlemen. So, as I said, when I was on the epidural, whatever, for like those 3-4 hours, I was fine. I didn't experience any pain anymore. And then, so the midwife that was currently attending to me was, our shift ends at 8 a.m. So when around 2, 3, 4 a.m. I was still 2 centimeters dilated, she was like, she's sure she's not the one that is going to deliver my baby. That's probably is the person that comes to shift next. So she was like even mentally rounding up that, okay, I wish you well. Somebody else is going to take over from me, right? And then I think she was working on the laptop and just like enjoying. I think she was playing her own music, and like I was blasting in tongues and doing my own. My husband too was there, and at around 5 a.m., if I remember well, it was like around 5 past 5 a.m. I started feeling pain. I started feeling like some kind of discomfort, you know. So at first I'm like, so I pressed the epidural thing again, and and I had to call. I'm like, I don't know, I'm feeling some sort of pain down there. And she was like, oh, are you pressing the epidural? I'm like, yeah, I'm pressing it, but I still feel, a lot of pain down there. And she was like, oh, okay, press it again and let's see. So I pressed it, a little bit of calm, but I was still feeling. This is where it gets interesting. She was like, okay, do you want me to like check how many centimeters dilated you are now? And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I laid down, opened my legs. Ladies and gentlemen, daddies and mommies, boys and girls, brothers and sisters, the God that never disappoints, the God that I'm so tired about, the Lord that always comes through for us at the die minute, the God that always glorifies his name, the God that always shows up, the God that answers prayers, the God that is good and kind and glorious and wonderful, the God that is worthy to be praised, the God that constantly puts the enemy to shame, the God that always wants to bring a testimony out of our lives, the God that is writing a beautiful story with my life showed up. And as I opened my legs and she checked, my midwife said, oh my God, look at your cheeky baby. The head is out. Jesus. I was 2 centimeters dilated around 4:30 to 5 a.m. when they were checking and contemplating CS. And in a twinkle of an eye, in less than 10, 15, 20 minutes, I went from 2 centimeters to 10 centimeters. And she's like, you are fully dilated. Your baby's head is here. And when I said, this midwife wanted to go home, like, at that point, I mean, when somebody 2 centimeters, you cannot do anything. So she hadn't like put all the whatever. At that point, she's like, oh my God. And she called another midwife. My husband who came closer, and all of that. And she's like, look at your baby's head. She was like, oh my God, she has a head full of hair. So baby's head was already out. Like, I hadn't pushed at that point. I just opened my legs and the head was out. Like, the head was at the entrance and out. And she's like, oh my God. She quickly went to put on gloves. Then they brought something closer to the bed so that I can spread my legs well. She called somebody else, and it was like, at that point I was laughing, and I'm like, oh, Holy Ghost, oh, Holy Ghost, oh, Holy Ghost, you are good. Like, it was, no. Till tomorrow, this testimony always amazes me, because how do you want to explain it? They were shocked. And whenever I think about my work with God, every time I'm in a situation that seems impossible, situation that seems, oh my God, what will I do? God always glorifies his name. God always brings a testimony out of this. God always shows up. Yes, baby. God always shows up. Come. Another breastfeeding break. So God always shows up. Like, the God I serve never disappoints. The God I serve never disappoints. The God we serve never disappoints. Even when it seems like, oh my God. So the midwives are like, how? Like at that point, it was a drama and it was a miracle. And they could even attest to it, And then immediately they were like, okay, blah, 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 blah. They brought out everything they needed. And they're like, okay, it's time to push. You have to, and with 2 pushes, people of God, with 2 pushes and in less than 10 minutes, my baby fully came out. And that was like the most life-changing moment of my life. And that was literally That was literally the most life-changing moment of my life, because as I saw my baby, I just burst into tears and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, you did it. You said you will do it and you did it. You said you will do it, God, and you did it. So this I have my like hospital notes here. So baby came 5:45 a.m. I think there's a place that they wrote like, so the entire labor, let me see, I think they're trying to, I think they put like the 10 minutes pushing time and whatever, a lot of documents actually. But yeah, baby came 5:45 a.m. As at 5 a.m. there was like, we would do emergency CS. There was no sign of any baby coming. As at 5 a.m., 5:15, 5:20 a.m., it was all still, oh, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 2 centimeters. And God literally pushed this baby out from 2 centimeters to 10 centimeters in a couple of minutes. And I think it was around 5:30 when I was like, oh, I'm feeling something, and she checked. And 5:45 a.m., my baby came out on Wednesday, the 6th of September, 2023. And by the time you're going to be watching this video, it's going to be about 6 days to our birthday, our first birthday. And I mean, the last 1 year has been God. So that's my testimony, guys. I thought I would have been able to summarize this testimony into like 20 minutes, but it's a lot. It's like, in fact, this is even me summarizing because the story just plenty. But the cocoa of the matter is God showed up. I truly had a supernatural childbirth, because at that point when they were saying, oh, baby's heartbeat was dropping, I was already like really scared. And the God that even took me through from the beginning, as I said, from the beginning of my pregnancy, where I had this accident thing, it could have been so bad that it would have affected my baby. Even throughout pregnancy, when they were like, oh, the weight has dropped, the weight is this, the weight is that, God just really kept us, you know. And my encouragement to you if you're pregnant is just carry I want to say carry God, but let God carry you. Yes, that's it. Let God carry you through the journey. Let God carry you through the process, because the whole concept of childbirth, the whole concept of reproduction is God's idea. So let him carry you. Let him see you through every step of the way, up until delivery, even after delivery. I mean, 1 year of having a child, you know, my baby hasn't had any major sickness apart from normal immunizations, and sometimes she has like rashes here and there, you know, but there hasn't been any reason for us to like rush to the hospital, no accidents. And you know, we do, like, look at that climbing everywhere. Like, God has just been super faithful, and that is my testimony. Like, and on 5:45 a.m. I had my baby after everything. So I had the second, where's my face, I had a second degree tear. So they stitched me. I had stitches, and baby's weight at delivery was 2.8 kg, I think 2.78 or something like that. That was about almost 6 pounds. Yeah, if that's how it's calculated, almost 6 pounds. And you know, yeah, that's it. So after then, I had the bath. You know, my mom had come. My mom around 5 a.m. My mom called that she was already leaving her house and coming in the bus. So but baby was already here before she came, and because she wanted to be there. So when you are about to have the baby in the delivery room, they allowed 2 people. So my plan was that my mom was going to, you know, be there with me, but going and coming. But immediately baby came out, she had come in. I think even before I had a shower, she had come in, you know. So she held baby, we called everybody was happy. My grandma was happy to become a great grandmother, my parents, grandparents, my husband's parents, grandparents, you know. I became a mother, my husband became a father. So I had my shower. After that, I went to, you know, so they moved me to another section, which was like the delivery for people that have had their babies. And then they just did observation, came to check baby, did came to check if the highs were like, just really checking all the body parts, if they are fine and complete and working well. Checked me as well, just did basic observation. Then they brought breakfast. I think they brought bread or something. I'm like, what is this? I told my husband before when I have a baby, I'm eating amala, abula. Videos I see on Instagram where when women have babies, they want to have sushi, and they're like, oh, it's like a reward. My own was amala. I'm not a sushi person. So my husband had made calls, and my church members, I had two delivery of amala, but I ate amala well. I was happy. I was fine. Then they taught me how to breastfeed. So a nurse or a midwife helped me like extract the colostrum for baby. I was so happy I lactated well, which was one of the things I also prayed about during pregnancy. So ladies, please, in your pregnancy, just pray. Like I have a book where I wrote everything. I'm like, God, I want a baby with a head full of hair. She has a head full of hair. I wrote that I want a healthy baby. She's healthy. I wrote that I want to lactate well, not because formula is expensive, but I just love the bond that breastfeeding gives, and God answered that as well. I wrote a lot of things, and God literally ticked all those boxes, for me, for my baby, for my family. I also wrote that coming into this family will bring blessings, and since she has joined our family, it's been one blessing or the other. And even now, I just want her to be like brand ambassador of like clothing brands, baby food brands, and all of that. So if you have links, please link me up. And all of that. So yeah, and the next morning, Thursday morning, before 12, they said we were good to go. So we went home on Thursday. My grandma prayed. My grandma was there. Well, now my grandma's gone to heaven. Still makes me emotional. Just last night, I still had a dream about her, and all of that. But yeah, I'm happy she saw her oh God, I'm getting teary. I'm happy she saw her first great grandchild, and we had video calls even after she left the UK and all of that. But yeah, I have that video ready where we went home and all of that. So I'm going to share that after this one in a couple of weeks. And yeah, that is my supernatural birth story, my positive birth story. A story that would have been incomplete without God, a story that could have become terrible or bad, or things could have happened negatively if not for God and the miraculous work of God. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a thing or two. But if there's anything I want you to take away from this story, is that God is good, God is kind. And if you are a child of God, you're serving God, don't ever think that God doesn't see you, or God is not interested in everything about your life. God is interested in every detail of your life. And I hope that you always remember that. Also, if you're pregnant, throughout the process, put it in the hands of God. Let God guide you. Let God lead you through it all. And yeah, at the end of the day, your story will bring glory to God. That I am sure of. So thank you so much for watching to the end. So from tomorrow, 1st of September, I'm going on a 30-day series here on YouTube, sharing with you 30 things I've learned as a mom. I mean, I could share one lesson every day for a whole year about motherhood, because motherhood is one school that is best experienced. Like, it's really like your experience would literally make you write a book. So throughout the month of September, my baby's birth month, 1st to 30th, I'm going to be sharing with you one lesson a day that I've learned. I'm going to be sharing tips, some hacks I've gotten, some ways to save money on some things, some, everything that's I think would really help you. There are more than 30 lessons, to be honest, so I'm going to be collapsing maybe 2 or 3 into one, the ones that like linked together. But it's going to be a beautiful journey. So tell a friend that the Global Woman is going to be sharing with you 30 things she's learned as a mom, 30 lessons I've learned as a mom. And it's really, really, if you're pregnant, please don't miss it. If you're a new mom, don't miss it. Even if you're not a new mom, but you plan to be pregnant or have another baby, you would really, find it helpful. So please come back here tomorrow and throughout the month of September. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. Maria, say bye. Say bye. Wave and say bye. Bye-bye. 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 Mwah. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye. 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 Yeah, let them see your hand. Bye. 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 Bye, guys. Mwah. Bye.